A new era for boxing on Channel 5 continues. Nathan Gorman faces Gorman-Salek for the IBF International Heavyweight Championship, whilst Josh Kelly makes his return. Watch Britain's best prospects in The Big Fight Live, Friday at 9, exclusive to Channel 5 and My5.
Hello and welcome back to Boxing Social in association with Betfred. My name is Ayman. We are here in Liverpool with the one and only Kalle Sauerland. Kalle, another Wasserman boxing event, another undercard stream live on Boxing Social too. Happy days.
Absolutely. Now we're looking for a big night of boxing in Liverpool again. I was just saying when I got off the train here today, I think I've got more friends in Liverpool than I do in London. But I haven't promoted here since the WBSS Callum Smith's journey to Jeddah began here against Eric Skoglund, September 2017. So I'm just thrilled to be back in this. And we always say it's a fighting city. This is a fighting city. Liverpool really is a fighting city, and it was great to see all the young guys and girls on the undercard. We're excited. We've got Chloe Watson coming through. I call her the Princess of Liverpool, respectful to the Queen of Liverpool, Natasha Jonas. But Chloe's at the beginning of her career still, and and then of course we've got Matty Harris, great heavyweight talent coming through, but the storyline on Friday night. It's all about those comebacks, isn't it? It's all about two of the biggest names in domestic boxing. Been out the ring 15, 18 months. Josh Kelly, one of the most talked about, one of the most, by all the experts, all saying this is going to be a future world champion, superstar, etc. And he's back on Friday night, and I'm very excited to see him back. He's had the problem with a pull-out last time of his opponent on the night of the fight. 4 weeks he's had to keep weight. People were saying before, he's not making weight. Well, he had to keep it now for 4 weeks, which is something that's not ideal, but it is what it is. And he's got Adam, who's a fantastic trainer in the corner. They've got a great team around him with H and the rest of the booth guys, and he'll be looking to make a real statement on Friday night, and I'm looking forward to seeing him simply back in a ring, and that all goes well, we'll have him out quickly again.
Let's start with
and then I was going to say, main event, Nathan Gorman, of course, out of that big fighting family. We heard all about it out there. For me, one of the best prospects, not only in British heavyweight boxing for the future, but international heavyweight boxing for the future. And the IBF, Intercontinental title on the line, which means that top 15 ranking puts him straight into the top 15 of the world, and will be, basically where he should be. But we also know that there's a lot of interesting fights to make on a domestic level. But Nathan is also, someone who I believe can go all the way. And I've guided quite a few heavyweight champions in my career, and I think Nathan's got all the tools and the right approach. And he's 25 years old.
You touched on a number of things, Kalle, there, so let's breeze through a couple of things. First of all, starting with Nathan Gorman. The heavyweight boxing and boxing in general is something that's always moving, always developing. You know that better than I do. Is it important that he kind of makes that statement with the platform, with the viewership that's going to be there? It's important that he kind of seizes the moment here Friday night.
Yeah, in terms of making a statement, I always tell the boxers, kind of enjoy it, make a statement, but at every level. That the IBF belt's important for us in terms of how we want to move Nathan, but also, that's why we're doing this. This is to showcase it. It's not hidden somewhere. It's live on terrestrial television. This is your moment to step up and perform in front of millions of fans, and thousands in the venue. That's what it is, and that's what Friday night's about. He's got to step up and take it by both hands, and I'm totally confident he can do that.
Josh Kelly, a lot of people earmark him as having all the talent in the world, someone who can eventually step up and get that world title. Important that he's out, important that he's active and getting his career back on track.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, activity, but you know, Josh has also got a lot of experience already under his belt, and you know, we talk about that loss that sort of people say derailed his career. I would say it's a bump in the road. I wouldn't even call it a what do they call sleeping policeman in the road. It's not one of those bumps where you got to slow down. I think we have to he has to learn from it. He will learn from it. He's in a great place, and yeah, in terms of activity, you watch and see.
Get a couple of updates from yourself. Chris Eubank Jr., what's the latest with Chris?
Working on good plans. No more than that at the moment, though, unfortunately, to tell you.
Could you give us an update on Philip Hrgovic? How about Philip?
Yeah, Philip will be out in the final eliminator against Zhang this summer. I think we're ready to announce something probably in the next week. Yeah, so yeah, the final eliminator against Zhang, and then I expect the mandatory to be called pretty quickly. So it's interesting, all this talk about other fights going on, but that mandatory will get called. It's overdue already. So yeah, that's going to be interesting.
We know that Jake Paul's coming out soon, but someone who kind of had his eyes on Jake Paul was Maurice Breedis. Maurice and yourself would have watched Richard Riakporhe do his thing last weekend, and that's a fight that interests you, maybe pairing Richard Riakporhe and Maurice Breedis. You've had some conversation online about that. Yeah,
I'm off with... we do Liverpool, and then I'm off to Australia with Breedis. And no, I put that thing out about Riakporhe, and you know the way it was being billed as an eliminator. I don't know what sort of an eliminator it was, and I don't want to throw stones in the glass house because promoters often like to use the words eliminators. And I'm sure it was some kind of eliminator. I just thought it was a bit ironic that the eliminator was being plugged 10 days before Maurice Breedis is doing his mandatory. And as we know, after the mandatory, you don't need to do any sort of second mandatory. There's no back-to-back mandatories. So, you know, he's got a year. So, yeah, great. And I said, look, if you want it, we don't need eliminators. We'll get it straight on after the fight. But, you know, we're also hopefully can finally get the Akoli fight done. See where that goes. But yeah, Maurice has got to do business down under. We're not underestimating Opataya. Yeah, so it's a long trip down there. We don't want to come back without a belt.
Of course, no. Moving on to the heavyweight scene, keeping up with that. Anthony Joshua's announced that he's signing with DAZN, moving over from Sky Sports, and the kind of ball's moving now on that rematch, potentially being announced very, very soon.
Yeah, I mean, I think everyone knows it's August 20th in Saudi, but I don't think that's official yet. But that's what I've heard through the grapevines, and that's the fight I'm looking really forward to see. I don't make so much about this that it's gone to DAZN now. I mean, DAZN is involved in boxing now since quite a while, and is a player on the world scene since 3 years now, 4 years. Put a lot of money into the sport, and you know, he's chosen to go with a global deal. So it's a decision that he's made with his team, whether it's with Eddie Hearn or Freddie Cunningham, and looked at it, you know, and taken it from there. So, you know, it's not really my place to comment, but am I surprised by it? No, absolutely not. I mean, in boxing, come on. You know, let's look at the days of Showtime and HBO. You'd have Floyd Mayweather hopping from one side of the street to the other and back again within a year. Yeah, so I don't make much of it. It looks like a very long-term deal, so I guess that's for the career, rest of his career. So looks like it at least. So yeah, no, I mean it's of course interesting, but I'd watch Joshua on any platform in the world. So it won't affect me, and I think most people in the UK will be still tuning into his fights.
People will be hopefully tuning in on Friday night as well on Channel 5, and also, again, a plug on YouTube, Boxing Social for the undercard. A lot of we've talked about the talents. Matty Harris himself, a heavyweight who scored a viral knockout last time, looking to do the same. Chloe Watson, like you mentioned as well, under the tutelage of Ricky Hatton, a great boxing legend in Britain as well. Just for those fighters who are there on the undercard, it's important for them also to seize their opportunity, seize that moment, and maximise that.
Of course, and you know, Chloe is fantastic. We're in her city, Princess of Liverpool. You know, great character outside the ring, but also someone who's very ambitious. You know, so she's. I think you're going to see a lot of her. Super that she's coached by Ricky, and Matty Harris is he's a big lad, eh?
And Jose, don't forget Jose.
Yeah, well, he's a very big lad. So we've got a really young and interesting stable in the UK. We're going to we'll add to it. You know, we'll assess it the whole time. Some might go, some will stay. We've got to work out which ones, you know, we want to work with the most. We don't ever want to be the biggest stable. We'd rather focus on the ones we have and really push them.